If you like Taste Test and you want to keep the music digestion sessions going every week and get some exclusive bonus content, stick around afterwards for details. But first, let's start the show. Have a taste.
You are now in the zone. With Taste Test Live.
Hey, what's jazzin'?
What's jazzin'?
It's time for Taste Test Live.
Woo woo.
Welcome back to Taste Test Live, and we are here for some exclusive interviews, music, news, and laughs. Joining me in the studio, Studio 1 to be exact, are my Taste Test Live co-hosts, my really good friends, MJ Baker and Blue Franswa. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey. How have you guys been?
Good. Real good.
I've been doing really well. Enjoying.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll take it. Blue, you were missing in action.
I wanted to meet her so bad.
You missed Janira Cardona, mi amiga,
I wanted to be here.
my Puerto Rican friend.
She was a ray of sunshine.
She was. We had a full. Did you hear any of the podcast?
I heard it when y'all put it out. Yeah.
Okay. What'd you think?
I wish I was here because I wanted to meet her for business purposes because she's a PR.
We can make it a special arrangement. She's quite touchable.
She's good.
Yeah.
She gave some pointers.
Yeah. I want to work.
I feel like she gave the whole well-rounded perspective of a Latin. She represents the Latin community, and then she just. If I was Puerto Rican, I would be proud.
Yeah.
From her, I thought it was awesome. Yeah. So it was nice to have her on. So anyway, can you take a few minutes, MJ, and tell our listeners what they can expect to happen on this podcast?
Yes, I can. On Taste Test Live, our monthly podcast will now feature exclusive artist interviews and exclusive new music releases you probably won't hear anywhere else.
And if you're interested or know someone who might want to promote an upcoming single, new album, concert, or just drop by to share their newest project, get in touch with us.
Yes, head over to our website at tastetest.live and complete our form to be a guest on the show.
If you like what you've heard, please follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Taste Test Radio.
Yeah. And I'm so excited. Guess what's happening?
Drum roll.
It has been so long, you guys. We are so excited to be back with our favorite segment.
Yes.
What is it, Blue?
It's 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm about to put this in your mouth.
So, hey, check it out. Before we dive into this week's segment, I would like to take an opportunity to introduce this week's guest.
Yes.
My really good friend, Toni. Please, for the benefit of my mispronunciation of your name, can you say your name once and for all for everyone who's listening?
Toni Smailagić.
Excellent.
Not Similac.
That's right. So, since 2009, photographer Toni Smailagić has been capturing moments with the fashion industry in New York, Paris, Los Angeles, and the Miami markets. In 2016, a move back to Jacksonville prompted a shift in focus, and his platform, Create Jax, and that's CRE8 Jax, was formed, dedicated to highlighting the cultural events, development, and the creators through a photojournalistic approach. He focuses on street styles, nightlife, and activism, and the people that shape the urban core that have developed into it. Welcome to Taste Test Live, my friend.
Thank you.
Glad you're here.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
So you're we're going to spend some time getting to know you in a little bit, but
Yeah.
Blue,
Yes.
I want you to be a part of the conversation. So by all means, Toni, please jump in when you feel necessary. If you're like, okay, I can't speak, I can't hold my tongue anymore. This is a hot button for me. So for those of you guys who don't know what Put This in Your Mouth segment is, it's a segment where we update you on what's happening in the music industry, in the entertainment industry, fashion, and pop culture, right?
Yeah. Pop culture.
And my good friend Blue here has come prepared with quite a significant list of happenings.
Yeah. I only did 4 things today because 2 of the things that I want to definitely get y'all opinion and talk more about it. But anyway, so I'm gonna run through the first 2 real quick. Rest in peace to Louis Rankin. He was an iconic actor that was in Belly. He was the one who who said, "What was it? I'm the Dundada" on that part with DMX. It was like a reenactment of that movie. What that Al Pacino was in. What's the name of that movie? Can't think of it. But anyway, so rest in peace. He passed away. He was a prolific artist, and he also was the artist behind the song "Typewriter." He died at 66. So.
Okay. Well, while we're on the subject of deaths.
Yes.
Just yesterday, the infamous
Yes.
international diva opera singer,
Yeah.
Miss Jessie Norman, also passed away.
How old was she?
74, I
Oh, wow.
believe.
Goodness.
Yeah, I felt the ripple because she was twinning. She was twinning on Twitter. She was trending on Twitter.
Wow.
Yeah. So may she rest in peace. May Louis Rankin also rest in peace.
Good news for women. Lizzo has reached #1 on the Billboard charts for the song "Truth Hurts."
Wow.
She's been taking that song, her whole movement. Even Beyonce, been taking likings to her. Like the whole world been really supporting her. So she's been #1 on the charts for a while now. So shouts out to Lizzo.
Yeah. Tony, are you a fan of Lizzo? Do you
I
listen?
am. I love Lizzo.
You do? Why?
I do. It's her music. The entire album was dope,
Okay.
Yeah.
and her visuals, and
Yeah.
her performing
yeah,
live.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. She
She's
definitely.
an entertainer.
She really is. Yeah.
She is, and I mean, I just love seeing her in her daring outfits and different things like that. Things that I secretly want to wear, like leotards, and
You have the
know.
permission now.
Yeah,
I
go ahead and
do.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, okay, there you go.
She loves her lovely lady lumps.
I know, right?
Check it out.
Yeah, so shout out to Lizzo. She's an awesome artist. Anyway, according to Daily Beast, which was published 4 hours ago, Yeezuz, which is Kanye West, held a infamous Sunday service performance at the Greater Allen AME Cathedral in Queens, New York, where a number of regular churchgoers walked out in mid-performance.
All right. I have questions. The first question: why did they walk out?
Mm-hmm.
Like what
Because they're haters.
No, I mean, do you know that to be true? Like, was it something that Kanye, or excuse me, Yeezuz, something that he did specifically?
Yeah, did he do anything,
I
Blue?
mean, do you have more context? You can't just leave us there.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna pull the. Well, let me tell you this.
Okay.
He's working on an album. He's working on a Jesus album.
which was supposed to be released last Sunday.
Yeah, that was supposed to be released last Sunday. So some of the reports, people felt like his performance was blasphemy to Christians, like it was disrespecting Christians and their belief, because he merges popular songs and he changed the words around, making them Christian. So people felt like he was making a mockery with his performance. So it's a little too
But
secular.
Kirk Franklin does the same thing. I mean,
no, it's different.
Well, it's different because he was a secular artist that went over to gospel, or is it different because he never did gospel and now he's being expressive and he hasn't? Oh, I got one better.
Go ahead.
Because he's a baby Christian. That's what they say, right? Is that it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
Okay, look at it like this.
What's a baby Christian anyway?
Somebody who's a babe in the Christ.
in the Christ. Okay.
Okay.
Look at it like this.
Okay.
I've read reports. I read people posting. Kanye West is the type of person who will reach someone who's not familiar with church.
Yeah.
He will bring someone who's a stranger who don't believe in God, because at once they were saying that Kanye West didn't believe it. They were saying that he didn't believe in God because he was going through so much. Mm-hmm. So Kanye West is someone who will reach, people who, don't know nothing about church. So if you go to a tradition, AME is American Methodist, like they're like an organization.
Yeah.
And they have like a certain way that they do things. Like
There's
they have
methodology.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they have certain songs that they sing. They have a way that they, even the way that they do communion, the way that they sit, where women dress, it's like, it's a whole, it's religious.
So it was sacrilegious in a sense because he did something that was out of the traditional AME experience.
But how did he? But here's my thing. It's like, how did he even get the ability to perform unless the leadership allowed him to do it, right?
Yeah,
like
I agree. I think that it was more to me, to me, I'm gonna be honest. I think it was more of a like a
Publicity stunt.
yeah, like a publicity stunt for the church, like maybe somebody who's doing PR. Because I mean, 'cause this church is in New York. Like it's a reputable, notable church. Like it's like this church would be similar to like a Bethel would be in the community. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
And so for those of you who are listening abroad, Bethel Institutional Baptist Church
Yeah.
is one of the largest African-American churches in Jacksonville.
yeah, they've
And
been
the
around
oldest,
a long
yeah.
time, and this church is a pillar in Queens, New York.
Yeah.
So by him coming in there, doing like doing church his way and doing the kind of gospel music, like they like, nah, this not what I didn't sign up for this.
So he didn't audition.
He didn't have. I mean, he's Kanye. He's Kanye.
They didn't know what they were getting
Well-
into. They just didn't know.
Well, how can you not know what you're getting yourself into when he publicizes his Sunday services? You know what you're getting into. He does not make anything a secret. I just think that, just like Tony said very quietly, it was a PR. I think the leadership invited him. They made whatever arrangement. Maybe
Yeah.
Kanye reached out to them because it's, like you said, it's a pillar in the community, and he wanted to whatever. They said, cool, thinking Kanye West, bring more young people.
All right. Well, I'm sorry that everybody walked out on you, Kanye.
That's not everybody. There's no way everybody.
Yeah,
Well, it
Well,
says
some
a
of them.
number of regular churchgoers.
So
I think that's
seven.
the key word on the regular churchgoers. So
yeah, it says many churchgoers recognize the pulpit as a sacred place where few can set foot during service. So
Oh
they
my
feel like
gosh.
he.
he wasn't qualified to be in the pulpit.
I don't want to talk.
Right.
Let's move on. Because
Yeah, I agree. I was
I'm
trying
gonna
to do that
offend
earlier.
some people.
Yeah.
Nah.
We can do that, but no, not really. I don't want to offend anybody.
No. What I'm saying is, it'll.
It could cause somebody to take offense to
Correct.
our commentary.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So out of the abundance of caution, this is gonna be the last time. So this is season 2, right?
season 2. Okay, this is the last time we what?
The last time that we mention him.
Okay.
There's so much other
Do
things
we
that we could
have-
talk about.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, and I'm not dishing out hateration.
Do
I'm
you
really
dislike Kanye? Because he's a very
No,
phenomenal artist.
That's opinion. It is. It's
Look
opinion.
at
If you guys
Tony,
could see
do you
Blue's
like
face.
Kanye West?
He's talented. He's talented, but that is an opinion.
Right.
I
It's
understand.
an
I
opinion.
understand why other people are offended by Kanye West.
Yeah. No, not
Everything that he's
offended.
done over the past couple of years. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not buying his gospel album, but I still respect.
I don't want to drink his sweet tea, his Kool-Aid. I'm not drinking the holy water. I won't be going to any of the Sunday services. I'm not going to get baptized at his service.
You don't think that's genius though? Like, respect him that he's a genius. I want to talk about Kanye
What's the
West on this
definition
show.
of a genius to
Huh?
you? What's the definition of a genius?
He took a revolutionary black custom of worship and remixed it. Like, he's like the R.
just
Kelly
put-
of music.
Who
Ooh,
else?
never
Somebody
mind.
didn't somebody else do that already? Sorry.
you just put R. Kelly.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Sorry.
how many other people did that? What you just said. Repeat what you just said, and think about 5 people that did that exact same thing.
I feel like he revolutionized gospel music in his
And
own
who has
way.
all he did was add the Clark sisters on Pony. That's it.
No, but here's what I'm saying. Kanye, he always hates on Kanye.
No.
You don't.
No. I'm gonna say I don't hate on Kanye.
Okay, I didn't say you. Okay, go ahead.
There's no hate. Again, I'm not dishing out hateration.
Support the black brother. He's trying to do something good for our people.
And here. Okay,
and that's
this is-
that's one thing. I'm sorry to interrupt you,
No,
MJ.
it's fine.
Anytime somebody tell me to support a black brother like that, I mean,
yeah,
right?
But it's Kanye.
And
He's exempt from. Never mind.
What is genius to you? Define
no,
genius.
I don't have I don't have a definition for it. I don't, because it's quite broad.
It is.
I would like to say I'm a genius, but then I would be say, well, you shouldn't call yourself a genius.
He's
I make
extra
genius
Then you make your
moves.
Kanye album.
I make genius moves, but that doesn't pre-qualify me to be a genius.
He's extra spectacular. Extra spectacular.
As I am extra spectacular, you are extra spectacular.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make you a genius.
Did you just call him not a genius?
Right. I'm a genius in my own right in the way of like my spirit resonate with Kanye. Not just playing.
So there's some sympathetic vibration here. Sympathetic vibration is when y'all are vibrating at the same frequency.
Right.
Right?
Like a tuning fork.
And you like, okay. You vibrating with Kanye. That's
Right.
beautiful.
Right. I feel like we should be able to talk about Kanye one more time. That's all I want.
I'm just on a different channel.
Listen, I'm just gonna say this one thing since we're eulogizing this conversation about Kanye. What I'm gonna say is,
sorry, I love the fact that you said you're eulogizing it.
Yeah.
I love that. Once and for all, once and for all, we're gonna put the topic of Yeezuz to rest.
Okay.
So I don't think that he is capitalizing in the sense of he is consciously saying, I'm going to make some money off of this, or I'm going to garner exposure from this. I really feel like in the purity of his heart, he really goes off of his whatever energy he's feeling at the time. And I really feel like he felt led to do the whole Sunday service thing. And it has grown because it's allowed young people or people who have said, I don't want to go in a church atmosphere. And it's allowed them to kind of see God in a different way. So, I think this is a good thing that he's doing. I don't discount him.
Let me just say this.
I will buy the album.
For the record, I will not buy the album.
Oh my God! What you guys should see how he shook his head when he said.
In addition, for the
Darren's
record, I too feel that he's doing something good. So because I grew up in church, as most people don't know this, but I grew up very religious with initially a Catholic background, and a lot of the Catholicism that happened in the house. A lot of the older ones decided they wanted to go to Baptist church. And my grandmother at the time, when she was alive, she thought, the nerve, how dare you leave Catholicism and you go to this Baptist church? They would get a little too charismatic. And then they went from being Baptist to holiness. And then went from holiness to Pentecostal. It's just like more and more charismatic, more, so I've experienced the wide variety, and I've learned to not pass judgment.
Right.
In the fundamental beliefs of my Christian foundations.
Right.
I'm not passing judgment. However, I will say that it is beautiful that Kanye is bringing souls to the kingdom. If that's what he's doing.
Oh.
Moving on.
All right, next subject.
And that's our show. For put this in your mouth. That's our show.
Is it? And that's all, folks. Oh, good Lord.
I don't even know what to say anymore after that.
That was deep, right?
It just took so much of my energy, man. Oh my goodness. Okay,
it was great
Tony,
talking to y'all.
Right. I mean, like we have it. He's already done. He didn't even want to be interviewed at this point. We're done.
We done.
Wow. Okay. Do you have any feedback
On what?
on what just happened?
No, I'm just observing. I'm taking it in.
Okay. So listen, we're gonna take a short break, real quick, while I gather my thoughts. Let's take a hot break, real quick. I gotta get one plug in, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Taste Test Live. I'm Damian Lamar, the host, and here in Studio One with my co-host, MJ Baker and Blue Franswa.
Peace.
And we're back with this week's guest, Mr. Toni Smailagić.
Again?
Smailagić.
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 Smailagić. Thank you. I said it right.
Yes.
Good. Yeah, it's good. I think it, because I don't like when people like, I go to Starbucks quite often. Like, that's probably where all of my money goes, and that's really not good. I should be like buying shares, versus like buying coffee. But
That's what they
I
say.
go there a lot, and I intentionally hand my card to them so they can see the spelling of my name, and they still write the name wrong. Oh my God.
How do they spell it with the no?
Damion
Damon.
or Damon. I'm like,
They spell my name wrong
didn't I give you my card?
How did they spell it?
with a Y.
Oh,
My first name's with an I.
Yeah.
Do
So
you-
they're
do
not,
you spell
Americans
it
aren't
for
used
them?
to a male Tony unless it's Tony
Mm-hmm.
from, back in the 90s, right?
Right.
So let's elaborate on that. Is that your given name? Your
It
family
is.
name? It is.
It is. We just don't have Y's in the Bosnian alphabet. So
Boom. There you have
That
it.
makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Okay. So why why is there no Y?
oh,
It's just that's just
you
the way it
asked the
is.
wrong person.
I know, he's like,
Got
I don't
Wikipedia
know.
right in front of you.
He like I flunked history class.
This is good. So Tony, we of course have a loose connection. I saw you and I met you years ago through Instagram when Instagram, I think before Instagram was like really popping, when it was sort of just picking up. And I was an avid fan of your photography, and that was one of the reasons why I followed you. I think you have an eye that I haven't seen in a lot of other photographers. What made you get started with photography? What's the thing that was the caption for you? Like, why did you do it?
Oh, I don't know how to answer that. That's it. I always had a camera.
You always had a camera. Okay. So you were a photographer, but you didn't call yourself a photographer. You just took pictures.
I mean, I just like visual anything, movies, whatever it was. I was always around visual components of things, and with photography, it kind of gave me access to a lot of places. I got to be the fly on the wall. I didn't have to be center of attention. There's a lot of things that I'm figuring out later on or now why I stuck with it or why I continue doing it, and it's basically that. Even now, like covering events, I'm like, I would never go to these events and just be calm or normal if I didn't have a camera. So even when I'm not shooting an event, sometimes I'll just bring the camera to have as backup to get away from awkward conversations.
Nice.
Really?
It's quite intentional.
Now
Yeah.
I get. Okay, now I get how you are with us. Okay,
Yeah.
that explains.
But that's who he is when you think about it. And I see it's like a vice. But I see how you use that tool
Yeah,
for
because
your benefit.
I'm an
That's good.
extroverted introvert. So there are moments when I'm like, I like partying or like going out dancing, whatever it was, if I'm around like a group of people I'm really comfortable with. Otherwise, I shut down very quickly.
Okay. Very interesting. I'm loving that. So you had no real formal training, right?
No.
You just have this
YouTube.
gift.
So-
YouTube.
YouTube.
So ever since you were a kid, you just always, you just gravitated to the camera. Basically, it was like.
Kind of. I
When
mean,
you
as
were
a kid,
younger?
like teenager, it was like the video camera thing, and it was like around the neighborhood and doing. I've discussed it before with like doing MTV Cribs. While Cribs was out, we would do it in the neighborhood, and I would be the one going to like my friends' houses and just
Oh,
doing
how
like
cool is
episodes
that?
of Cribs. I really want to find those tapes one day, but
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
that
that'd be
We should
it
have a
was so
party
funny.
dedicated
It was-
around that. Like,
no,
You never know. He said that quick. No.
no, that's not going to happen.
no. But then in like middle school, high school definitely. I always had like a small little digital camera to take pictures of people. I don't know, while we were
just-
on field trips or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then when we started driving, it was the same thing, like going places with friends, and I had the camera.
Interesting. This interview is not about me, but I have also been on the opposite side of your lens. So back in 2016, there was a series called Light Travel Portraiture. And it was maybe 4 years after I had finished the New Adventures of Professor Clark series. And it was the first time I really did like a real professional photo shoot. And that summer was awful because I had just got laid off from a job.
I remember.
I was kind of broke. Or I was like to say, I was in between blessings. So
Yeah.
it's so much better than being broke, right? So y'all can share that. Y'all can use that. And you made me feel, during that set, like I was super empowered just by just being natural. And it's my understanding you use natural light photography.
Yes.
Why is that? And what's different between natural light versus when you do regular studio shoots?
Studio is a little bit more controlled, so you control all portions of your setting. Where natural or being on location, random things can happen, and it's just kind of going with the flow of it. So it's a little bit more spontaneous. Where the wind picks up, if you have hair or if you have a dress or whatever it is, you get to get that portion of it. Versus in studio, you'd need a fan or you'd need whatever. It's like there's a beauty to both sides. Like I appreciate a lot of studio photographers because I don't do it. And vice versa. But
okay, all right.
So you like to capture like the very essence of that moment, not so much staged, but just kind of like
who you are in that moment.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome. So it's my understanding you're putting together a book for the first time ever. Never done this. Give us some insight on what's going to happen with this book and why. I like the question why, because you get so many good answers from
I know.
Why.
It's such a vague question.
It really is. It's broad.
I put together the book, so I'm not putting it together. It's already put together. I put it together over the past year. It encompasses everything I captured, not everything, but kind of the highlights from 2016 to 2018 in Jacksonville. So that's when I moved back. And so
nice.
Why? Because I needed something concrete. I needed a tangible thing to kind of wrap up those years.
Yeah. So you can move forward.
But also give people something to have just kind of as part of a history. I don't want to say it's like a part of history, but in a way it's part of history as far as everything that's happened in Jacksonville over those 2 years. Especially in living in an Instagram age where you post a million pictures and sometimes you'll scroll back and see it, but until the next platform comes along and everybody switches over, you forget about those images. There's really no concrete way of saving anything unless it's printed, which a lot of older photographers are still very hard on. Make sure to print your work because these hard drives will crash. Like eventually. You're going to lose this information if it's not printed. So it's just listening to my elders.
Yeah. That's good. Good filtering.
That way. Yeah.
No.
All right. So before I continue, the second part of the question was, when does the book come out? When it's going to be released to the world?
So I have 12 more days so I have a campaign that's been going on it's a 31-day campaign on Indiegogo, and I have to raise $15,000 to put a deposit down to start printing the books. So it's 1,000 copies that I'm printing.
Okay.
So I have 12 more days to get, I think, somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000.
Oh, you'll do it.
Left.
You'll do it.
So
I'm going to help contribute. I'm going to do it. Yes.
It's a lot, but so it's been
you will
been
do
a lot.
it. Yeah, well, of course, like, with any crowdfunding campaign like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, the pressure is there. But as with you, and you know this, being in the event arena in Jacksonville, we know that people in this town they call it a walk-up town. Mm-hmm. Like, nobody purchases tickets in advance. They usually just walk up and they kind of inquire. They go, oh my God, that's right. This is the last minute for me to contribute to Tony's campaign. Let me go ahead and put my $1,000 on,
It's always the first 3 days and the last 3 days, usually in most campaigns.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So that explains it.
We'll see the last 3 days.
Okay.
I will be texting each one of you.
Well, this will be out, and hopefully your audience will be very, very wide, and a lot of people will hear this and they'll want to contribute to your campaign. Because I am a fan of your work. I think your work is amazing to look at. Before we dive into allowing our other co-hosts have the floor for a brief moment. You've done street photography, like you've done fashion photography. You've also done some landscape photography, like your trip to Puerto Rico recently. Mm-hmm. Is there any specific style that you really, really liked out of everything that you've created before?
Just in general, people, anything with people. So even if I'm doing landscapes, if I can have some kind of person in the background, even if it's just like a shadow or whatever it is, as long as people are involved, I'm cool.
Okay. All right.
That's cool.
Yeah. You guys have any questions?
Yes. Okay, so So here's my question, because you're Bosnian. So did your family come over as immigrants and come straight to Jacksonville, or did you guys kind of stop somewhere and then make it here? Like, how did you guys get to Jacksonville, basically?
By plane, but we.
Touche.
But I was born in Bosnia, so
Okay.
by age 3, the war started. So we went from there to Croatia for a little bit, then to Denmark, then to Germany for a few years, and then to Jacksonville by the time I was 9.
Oh, okay.
So I was a refugee coming here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how big is your family? Like, are you the only child, or?
No, I have two older sisters, but they're gonna kill me. They're much older.
Oh, so you're the baby.
Yeah, but my nieces are my age. So my sisters are 20 to 25 years older than me.
So are you like mom? Are you like your mom's? Like, since you're the only boy, like.
I'm the favorite. It doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Can you not do any wrong?
I'm sure I can do wrong, but I'm still the favorite.
Right,
I get away
right.
with a lot more than I think my sisters could.
Okay. Well, okay. So next question is, how do you, has this photography, doing different things, has it been financially successful? Like, how do you keep, because, I'm an artist, and, I know we have to have so many gigs and different things like that. Is it the same for you, or,
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you marketing yourself and like
every kind of way possible? Any person I can talk to, any room I'm in, that's why I started doing events, was to meet people, clients that way, to meet corporate clients that way.
Okay.
Because they start seeing your face over and over again, they become comfortable with seeing you, and they'll start talking to you. They'll email you. They'll reach out.
Yeah.
They'll find you.
So when did you decide to go full time, or has this always been it for you?
I think 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So when I left Jacksonville originally, I think that was it. There was random jobs. I did Starbucks for 2 months at one point in LA. I did Forever 21 for 2 months in New York, 2 or 3 months. It's just random things,
Right.
just especially that's usually when I first move. So when I first moved to New York, Forever 21 the first couple of months, just to kind of meet the people there and figure out how things are run. And the same thing in LA, I don't think I had a job in Miami. But I mean, you pick up random things along the way just to get by. When you have to pay bills, you figure out a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was 2019, 2020. They still call it hustle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That grind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Blue.
Blue
been waiting. Blue been waiting.
No.
So before you, I want to set this up because this is very rare that we have 2 photographers in the studio at the same time, right? So, Blue is a photographer.
Yeah.
3. There's a person that's not on the mic that's a photographer that's in the studio. But it's very rare that this happens, and I always like to see how other photographers. I mean, I love the camaraderie because I know you guys have worked together in the past, and I know you're friends and you speak highly. So I'm just sitting back now. I'm just gonna watch.
Yeah.
No,
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Me and I don't think he knows, but I think he probably. But we started around about the same time. I think I went full time before he did. But as far as taking pictures and working with people, soliciting business we started around the same time because I remember they used to call him Tony Too Tall. And it's so funny when people be like, "Oh yeah, he's a natural light photographer." I'm like, yeah, he became that because he used to have 1600 Alien B. He used to take it around with him and take the picture and just have this interesting light perspective. It'll be at an angle. He'll shoot very wide. And everybody used to be like, "Oh, who's this guy? Who's this guy? It's this top photographer." And so one day I ended up just being nosy, just started following him on Model Mayhem, and I had
Model Mayhem. Yeah, you're going back now. Yeah.
Yeah, I went, and then I think we used to be friends on MySpace. That's what it was. We was friends on MySpace, and so he's always have this wide angle shot, very like artsy and artistic. And I'm the kind of person like I was always business oriented because I came from a corporate world, so I was always focusing on marketing and promoting myself, but not being creative. And so I used to admire him, Edwin Mackey.
You used to?
No, I'm sorry. Back then, I used to watch them from afar out of respect, going, "Wow, that's amazing."
Yeah.
Not trying to compete, any of that. And but what I appreciate about them is no matter whatever, like a lot of people when they need money, you can tell like they hustling. But when you love what you do, the money will come. You know what I'm saying? So he was even at a young age, he was like always being expressive with his work. Like, you know what I'm saying? Me, I'm always thinking about, okay, I need to book 25 shoots in 2 weeks so I can pay all these bills. I wasn't thinking about being creative. Oh, hey, I need headshots. I'm always like supply and demand. Like I'm always in that mode.
Very transactional.
Right. But I had a lot of respect for them coming up because they looking at their work make me say, hey, they keep me in touch. So instead of trying to be competitive with other people, I look at their work and get inspired and be like, wow, like I appreciate that. I would, have love for them. Like it's a guy named Chris Parson. It's a guy named Edwin Mackey and Toni.
You know Mackey too?
Yeah. And I remember one day I remember when they first went to Miami because Chris Parson came to my apartment. He was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna go to New York," and I was like, and then he winds up in Miami, and then I noticed that it was Everly's. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like it was a bunch of them, and some of the top photographers, like all together, like I'll say from Florida, because Edwin's from what, Miami? Is he from Miami originally? Or Orlando?
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale.
Like
Yeah. So all of these monster photographers together, like for them to all be around each other, I was so inspired by. They kind of created a movement here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jacksonville. Like if you ever look up Chris Parson, like he's like a genius. Like he's actually way before his time. Like the stuff that he's doing now, he was doing what 15, 20 years ago. And Toni, like some of the stuff, huh?
Parsons has been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, and I remember he came to my studio, and he went on tour with Kendrick Lamar, and he met Kanye West, did pictures for him. And I remember this was like maybe 4 years ago. He said, "Blue," he said, "Man, I used to." He told me, he said, "Blue, I have a lot of respect for you because you really out here doing it." Because at the time, I was living in a penthouse downtown at City something, and he came to my apartment and borrowed something, and he said, "Man, you really doing photography full time?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Man," and then fast forward 2 years later, he came to my studio and said, "Man, Blue, I envisioned myself working with Kendrick Lamar, Kanye West, naming all these stars," and he ended up working with them. Going on tour, taking pictures of like some of the most amazing people. And I used to be like, man, this guy came right out of Jacksonville. And then even with Toni, like just seeing all the stuff that he doing with models, like Toni gets to do the stuff that I would, like if money wasn't an issue, I would love to photograph the kind of stuff he do. You know what I'm saying? And it take a special skill to just say, you know what, I'm going to do it. And he execute lighting. Man, it's amazing. So we used to, me and the other photographers, and we used to always joke, be like because he always had this interesting perspective, and if I shoot wide, they'll go, "Oh, now you trying to be like Toni too tall." So
it was a little bit of a trademark that he did.
Yeah, because it was to be a 16 to 35 millimeter 2.8.
Yeah, because that's the only lens I could afford. I had that for like 4 years before I got any other lens.
And he had the 1600 Alien B, and I forgot you had a Mark II or Mark III back then.
Oh no, that was like
a Rebel. No, you had a Rebel.
Rebel.
Yeah, Rebel. So the reason I'm being specific with the kind of camera he had, because what he used, you could look at his work and couldn't tell that he was using like a consumer level camera and creating the kind of work, like the kind of pictures that he have. There's people who shoot with $30,000 cameras and it looks like his work.
Wow.
Like they shoot, you know what I'm saying? And so I have
it's all about the eye and what you see and how well you're able to translate that to the final product.
So anyway, so the reason why I wanted him to come on, because one of my goals in life is to work on publishing a book that represent me and leave a legacy behind. So when he was doing it, I was like, oh man, oh my gosh, this is amazing. He's actually, I just donated $20. I'm doing the $20 perk. So he's actually 9,000 and what? Let me look at it. But he's on, he reached $9,000 already, and I think he just needs some more support. So he's what, $4,000 short?
6,000.
6,000 short.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you'll be up to 4,000 short soon.
Yeah.
By
and
the
you got
end
12
of the week.
days, right?
Yeah.
T minus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Damon, we have to post this link
we will
to our followers
we
and listeners.
Definitely will. Without question.
All us promote and donate so that way we can get them. But that would be so amazing to do that, because that was one of the reasons why I haven't done it, because I've been doing it. I'm at 12 years, and it costs a lot to publish that. It's like we're doing music, but when you're doing books, you have to, for them to publish it, you got to purchase a large amount. They have to type.
Really?
Yeah, you have to purchase a large amount and, cover the publishing, the printing. You got to get it, copyright. There's just a lot that goes into it. And so, and then, and the reason why I really like the book too, it reminds me of Faces of New York. You ever seen that book?
Humans
of New York. Faces. But it reminds me of that, because this would be something that Jacksonville can like latch on and reach on to. So that's why I was like, man, you know what? We need to interview him, because he captured that new vibe and new energy Jacksonville has, like the events that we're having, the art world. Like he kind of like just blends in with the music. So
that brings me up to a really good question too for you, Tony. In the last, you said it since 2016, right? So in the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. From your perspective behind the lens, have you seen the culture of Jacksonville change?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me like some insight. Is it more, because give me some insight. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like what have you noticed?
The youth.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the cool ass 17 to 24-year-olds. They're doing it all.
They are.
They're killing it.
So what's this generation called? Because I know it's like we have millennials, we have Gen X's.
Exennials.
Exennials.
I thought it was Gen X and millennials.
I think it's Gen X.
It's Gen X.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
We could all be wrong.
Yeah.
But needless to say
I think Tony is considered a millennial.
I'm a millennial.
The ones who are in their 30s now. So Gen X must be the
30s. I'm 30.
Don't age me.
And you know what's funny about Tony that I like? He used to, when he was doing it, like when he was doing Create Jacks, he used to say, like, I want to do something to bring everybody together. And I want to show what Jacksonville, because he would go to New York, go to Miami, where it's popping. They got culture there. And for some reason, if I had the opportunity to leave, I would leave. And, I love Jacksonville, but he, to me, brings back he documents a sense of the emerging culture that's here in Jacksonville that's needed. So it's like there's people who don't know what's going on in Jacksonville, but his page, the Create Jacks, is a source of information.
Yeah,
absolutely,
of what's going on, stuff like that. So
you
need to put more MJ events on your thing too.
I put MJ
He
when
does.
I said more of. No, but no.
He does.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but he definitely do that.
So
throw me under the bus.
I appreciate that.
So
Tony will tag me.
It's been said too that Jacksonville is like the city that's suffering in identity. Like we don't have an identity. I think that's not true.
It's coming along.
It is. I mean,
I don't think we have one identity.
Thank you.
We don't.
Yeah.
There's no way. I mean, every part of the city is completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Riverside.
just Jacksonville Beach to Atlantic Beach are two
Completely
different
different.
communities.
Really?
Completely,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Same
miles
thing,
apart from each other.
Springfield to Riverside, like
Yeah.
downtown to Arlington, like those are all different kinds of vibes.
So it's a mélange. That's a French word. A mélange of, or melting pot of lots of different diverse cultures, different backgrounds, and you have done, I mean, based on what I've seen, the photography that I've seen in the last 3 years, which is sort of like when I met you within this last 3-year period, everything that I've seen has been representative of the true heartbeat of the culture of Jacksonville.
Yeah,
like he's
I agree.
on the beat.
Yeah.
You have managed to capture, like, I kind of really, if I miss an event, I kind of look forward to seeing your photography, because like, dang, I really missed out because you have done a way you've and if I'm at an event and I just don't get any FaceTime, by that seeing the photography from that event, it makes me remember that experience because
agree.
you capture the essence of what was actually going on.
Yeah.
So great job doing that.
Selling nostalgia.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
all.
And you know what? And Tony, because me and Al Pete, we do. We have fly socks and tees that we do every year, and Tony shot for us one year.
Oh yeah.
And those were
That's in the
like,
book.
I mean, those were
Amazing.
Is it really?
Now you have to
Al
donate
Pete,
and
we made
contribute.
it. We made it.
Y'all part of history.
I have to let him know. But I mean, those were some dope, like just the point of view and the perspective and, different things like that. It's like really amazing. And I know more. I think we are both learning. He and I both are learning that through these events and just watching how different photographers shoot, we're learning what we, how we want people to perceive the brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I think photography is very important and videography because,
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's like, so when we go into next year, we're already thinking, who do we want to shoot it and who do we want, to capture the moments, with the video and with the photography and how we want to sell. And I didn't realize how important photography was in selling. Like even me as an artist, it's like how that person captures you, how the angles that they use, it really helps, people perceive you a certain way, and so it's very important. So that's why, like, even for me, it's like, people say, oh, why are you taking a lot of pictures? And I say, I have to meet the photographer first. Like, I have to be able to connect. And I have had some photographers who are great photographers, but they have not captured me properly, so I don't even post their pictures.
Yeah.
I've paid them, but I didn't even put in their stuff up. But it's very important, I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of photographers, who are your top 5
Like off.
photographers? Yeah.
Like,
They don't have to be from Jacksonville. Top 5.
Peter Lindbergh.
Ooh. Didn't he pass recently?
He did.
Oh, man. Rest in peace, Peter Lindbergh.
It was a tough day. I literally had friends from around the country text me. They're like, "Are you okay today?" Because they know I have like a huge.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I mean, Helmut Newton, Christopher Anderson. I don't like being. I don't. Off
Richard
the top of my head,
Avedon?
I don't know.
You seem like
I mean, I
somebody-
love Richard Avedon. I love Annie Leibovitz, etc. Gordon Parks, even. But it's like it.
Yeah.
There are way too many for me to just randomly say top 5. But top one that was living was Peter Lindbergh until like a month or two ago.
I'm a big Dave LaChapelle fan.
I love LaChapelle too.
Yeah, so I want to meet him as someone in person. Last question for me. What kind of music Tony is listening to these days?
Yeah, that's good.
When you're
Good
editing.
question.
When you're
Good
editing.
question.
Oh, I have editing playlist I've built for the past, I think, 3 or 4 years at least. I mean, I have thousands of playlists.
I listen to his Vibes playlist on Spotify all the time.
That is my editing playlist.
Really?
Yeah. It's right now it's
I
like
gotta
700
look.
songs.
How do I find? Is it Vibes?
Vibes with a bunch of Z's, right?
Yeah. Because I was like, no one's going to find this. And
So
then,
who are some of the artists that are on that Vibes playlist? Like
Artists that I play on Taste Test Radio, right?
a lot of them, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, recently it's more like Sir. Have you listened to Sir?
Oh,
album?
yeah.
His new album is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
So a lot of Sir. I mean, Tori Moi or
Ooh.
I mean, even Tierra Whack. Like
Mhm.
I love.
Tierra Whack is a beast. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it varies, and then it can go into like Minnie Riperton, or it
Yeah.
just kind of flows with whatever, and it definitely changes the way you, or at least the way I edit.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Same
if it's
with
like
me.
darker music, I tend to see I use like more bluish undertones, even in editing processing or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And same in like popular music, I'm like, oh, let's make this colorful and bright, and it just kind of changes your vibe with however you're editing.
So then do you choose the list based on the event? Like, so let's say, so if it's a wedding, do you say, okay, I'm not going to go with this playlist, I'm going to go...
For weddings, yes, because if it's trying to kind of capture an emotional moment, I'll pick more emotional songs, just things that kind of bring that out of you. So I find myself like tearing up, going through the pictures. I'm like, Oh, and then it's like the music playing on top of it, and I'm like,
oh
okay,
wow,
this is
wow,
Yeah.
That is very
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really interesting.
I was listening to jazz when I edited your pictures. Huh?
Jazz.
Yeah.
Really? Why jazz?
It gave me remember that electric thing? Remember when you saw it?
Yeah.
Like I felt.
It's called success. It's true. It is. When I saw it, I said, "Yep, success is in my hands. That's it."
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I look at success like. It's like it's a form.
vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
That was great.
I think that's very interesting.
I figured because when you looking through his pictures, I'd be like, wow, I like the emotion of it, like his visual. Because a lot of times with me when I'm taking pictures, I sometimes can see what I want before I photograph it. I don't know if you had that, but if you ever seen a picture of him with there's like a little electric ball.
It's called success.
He has a name, the Professor Clock, and I said, what would be, and I thought about X-Men, and I said, I need something that will just show how I see him. So when I did it, I had already saw it in my mind, so I had made him wait in suspense.
He did, and it was worth it. It was worth the wait because when I saw it, I was like
3 weeks later. But
seriously,
I looked at it and I walked away. I had to marinate. Like I said, no, I'm gonna send it to him. He said, Blue, I want to see the pictures. I'm like, wait. Just wait.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know.
I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
So it is I'm always very interested because I know as a songwriter, I know how my process works.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like right now, my process is I'm journaling a lot of my thoughts.
Yeah.
Which is the beginning of a collection for me. But so it's like, it's very cool to hear how creative photographers, because I mean we have people that go and they take pictures, right? But then to actually hear you looked at it and you walked away and you looked at it,
or I was editing and I'm
Right.
looking at this beautiful wedding and I started crying. I mean,
Right.
like, you
You're
don't hear
listening to
that
music,
often.
to edit that out.
They were like, oh, I'm gonna do what Tony did. What's my playlist?
That's actually that you say capitalizing on nostalgia. Like I had a conversation with an 11-year-old. I was at Crispy's, and he says, "Yeah, Disney is doing this again." We're talking about Disney, and he an 11-year-old. He says, "Yeah, I think they're just capitalizing on nostalgia right now," and that's what gets it though.
Yeah.
That's what people want. They want that. That's what photography is. You're taking that moment and you're capturing a moment in time because you want them to remember, specifically weddings. Oh my God, that was a fantastic day. Let's look at this. And they're sitting there and they're crying and they remember the whole 20 years down the road, 40 years down the road, they're remembering that moment. They're not remembering necessarily the photographer.
No.
They remember how the photographer made them feel, how they made them look.
right?
When you're doing your street photography, there's one specific photo I'm looking at on your website now where you had to have been upstairs and you got this angle here. And
Oh wow.
there's an amazing. That's one of my
man.
favorite shots because it's a bunch of color. You're looking at a brown, maybe Hispanic a male, and then there's also a person in the bottom of the photo that's actually looking up while you're taking a picture, and you capture that moment. But you were shooting the photography from an angle.
A fire escape.
Wow.
Yeah. So like that leads me to the next question. Are there favorite cities? There are places that you've been in your travels because you've been all over the world traveling, doing photography. Is there something specific that you really like?
The
No.
people every time.
It's the people.
Yeah,
It's not
like,
about a place. It's about the people.
Yeah, it's like you go to Puerto Rico, like the people of Puerto Rico are amazing. Like just warm people. Same thing in Colombia, same thing in Kenya, same thing. Like anywhere you go, like the
Colombia.
Yeah.
it's like you meet the people there and then you kind of have that visceral emotional attachment to them, and you, at least to me, it's my job to make sure I represent them in the right way. To make sure
lovely.
someone else wants to go meet them as well, or see what they're about, or see what the city's about. So
You've done that because it goes back to what I was saying earlier about how you've captured that event, and you have mastered that art of capturing the essence of what is transpiring in front of your camera. That's a quote. You can use that.
What happened a while back when you? Because I remember one day you posted something that you lost all your, and I remember I passed out on the inside. I said, "Oh man, you lost your memory card."
My memory card. Wait, which one was this?
Bogota.
Oh, I didn't lose my memory card. I was shooting for a bridal magazine.
Yeah.
So we had to shoot a swim portion of it. So it's like a honeymoon thing in Colombia. And then I went inside with the model while we were shooting in the water, and I had the memory card in my pocket.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, I left. I did not tell the editor. I was like, oh, no, I have all the pictures. You'll see them when we get back. And it was a huge fight between us because she's like, no, I need to know what images you have now to know what we need to shoot. In the meantime, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to save these images because once you have like salt water inside a memory card.
That's it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, really?
And then I got back and I had a friend, because I landed in Orlando, and I happen to have a really good friend who's an engineer for like space companies. So he's like, let me see this. And he like opened the memory card up. Like he rescued the chip. I don't know.
Are you serious?
He got the chip out and got me the pictures.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember that because I was like, wow. Yep.
So
Whoa.
your friend that works for NASA was like,
He saved the day.
was like, hey,
He did.
was like, hey, we got some technology that's due in 2025, but let me save your.
Wow.
Let me do
Yeah.
some Back to the Future.
Breon Page, if he ever listens to this.
Yes, goodness.
That's
Thank
it.
you, Breon.
Hey, yeah, thanks, Breon.
Okay, Back to the Future.
And it didn't affect any of the photography. It was flawless. Like everything you took, were you happy?
Yeah. Everything was fine. Wow. Well, I mean,
But
I
you
think so,
learned a
yeah.
lesson in that.
Yeah, not to go into the water with my memory card.
Now, okay, so now I have a question for for you guys as photographers. Now, when you are working, have you ever worked with an artist or a model that was like, you knew you were getting paid, but they were just difficult? Like it was just, it was like one of those experiences where you were just like, I just want this to be done.
Ooh, that happens a lot.
Yeah. They can't name names.
Yeah.
I know I'm not asking to
Protect
name names.
protect the innocent.
I'm not asking to name
Really the
names.
guilty.
But so how do you deal with that? Like how do you know what I mean? Like can you tell a story? I mean, no names, but can you tell a story and that you were almost on the verge of like, you know what, let me get your money back. Have you ever,
I've done that with clients, by the way.
Give money back?
I've done that or sent. I have a letter called The Power of No. It's a letter's like, thank you, I'm not interested. But
can you give a story of like something?
I have two quick stories. There was a guy who hit me up, DM me a couple times, and there was a song that he put out about the Jacksonville Jaguar, and I was just like, ugh.
I know exactly.
And so,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I had a lot of respect for him because of what he do for a living, and I was like, wow, he's good at what he do. But he put out a song, and I was just about the Jaguar. I was just like, and a lot of people was joking and making a mockery of it. So he kept saying, hey, and it was asking me like random questions, and I'm the kind of person where if I don't really know you, I'll be like, hey, I said once you pay a deposit. And then, I will get back with you. I said, but, you have to pay a deposit if you want to talk about anything because I just don't have the time because I'm taking pictures every day, all day. So I think he got offended by that. Then later, I felt like if I would have took his pictures, I probably wouldn't have not done a good job. And I already had a preconceived emotion about not doing a good job. So I kind of just turned it away. He popped up with pictures by Toni, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. I'm glad Toni did it because I don't think I would have did that because of how I felt about a song. Because
and I didn't know about the song. I didn't know about any of that until way later.
now. Okay, so let's tie that in. Had you known about the song, do you think that would have changed your perception about the outcome of that session?
No. It's all. It depends on when you meet the person. Am I meeting the client before I'm shooting them, which I technically prefer. I'm like, I would really like to meet who I'm shooting, just so we have some kind of repertoire, and it's not like
weird.
You walk in and it's an off energy, but sometimes you don't have the chance. Someone is coming into town for a day or two, they want to shoot, etc., and then it can be really good or really bad. But it's kind of up to me to set the standard of what it's gonna be when we start. So when we meet, if I'm meeting you for the first time, we're getting coffee or we're having a drink or whatever it is, just a 15, 30-minute conversation, even if it's just like a 15-minute conversation.
In person or over the phone?
In person.
Okay.
I prefer in person. Like, I have to know who I'm dealing with. Like, how particular are you? Show me examples of things that you really like, or even like noticing how what images people post of themselves. You can kind of tell like when they, especially when it's like, not to say like older, but as soon as, especially women who are between like 40 and 60, when they post like crazy filtered things just so no wrinkles are shown, etc. Like I already know what kind of client this is going to be. They're going to want every single wrinkle retouched. Like, is it going to be worth that much time for me to take this on?
Oh, wow.
So it's priced differently based on editing. Just
that is very interesting. So you also are interviewing your client.
I need to do that.
So okay.
Seriously,
So have you ever met someone, went out for drinks, and you were just like not feeling it, and did you go through with it, or did
if I needed the money, and usually I need the money.
Usually I need the money.
So you just pray over
I'm
yourself
like,
and
okay,
keep
let's
going.
get through this. I'll still get you the images you need.
Yeah. You know it's not going to be residual. It's going to be transactional. Just
it's not
done.
going to be the images that you could potentially get if you opened up more, or if you were. I think sometimes the younger people who are, they're introverts usually that can't converse or don't know how to converse, and we can't have a conversation, or whatever I'm asking you, you're giving me a one-word answer. It becomes short, and I'm like, okay, so let me find. I'm always looking for like some common ground, so sometimes I'll research them before, just to see what kind of music they like or whatever it is, just to have some kind of topic to start with to make them a little bit more comfortable. But after that, if they don't give me anything, I'm just like, okay, let's take these pictures. Stand over here.
My session, it's time for another session with you.
Yeah.
Like, before the year is out, I'm having a session with Blue, and I'm having a session with you. And what we're going to do is have another little party, and we'll come back and we'll compare. No, I'm kidding.
No, I can admit, he's phenomenal. He's amazing.
He is amazing.
I give
But
props.
I need another shot. I need another shoot. I do.
We're going to do the Afro theme, right? Okay.
Oh.
Edit that out.
Now you can edit that out.
Well, Africa's huge.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
I said Afro.
Afro, right. But I found out recently my actual African heritage, where I'm from. It's West African. Maybe Sierra Leone, Liberia, Ghana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and I like to tap into that somehow through photography. So,
Have you all done the DNA thing?
No,
Ancestry?
because I don't want to give my DNA or codes to that.
They already have that. They already have that.
They got
you
it.
do a fingerprint. They have something. You are not hard to find.
Wow.
So you mean to tell me this clone that I need, they need to come off it, right? They have him. Damian Lamar Robinson is out there somewhere.
Lamar Damien, yes.
Oh, weird.
That's kind of freaking me out a little bit. Tethered. Oh, that freaks me out.
Wow.
Because I need this person to come work so that I can do my vacation.
Right.
I can get all the things that I've been wanting to do for fun. I want to get all that done while they on the ground, hustling and doing all the heavy lifting and stuff. That would be nice.
Oh, Toni.
So, yeah.
Do you experience a lot of deja vus being a photographer? Because I know sometimes I experience that a lot. Like when dreaming and going out, or I'll be somewhere and I'm taking the pictures and I'll be like, I'll freeze. I'll be like, oh, man.
Whoa, that's wild. Serious?
Yeah,
You do?
I experience a lot of deja vus, yeah.
All the time. But
Yeah.
then I try to explain to someone, they're like, that's just a glitch in your brain, et cetera, and it just kind of repeats.
No.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't believe that.
Where I'm like, I know exactly what's about to happen, and then you're going to do that, and then this is going to happen.
Serious?
Yeah.
All the time.
Wow.
I
During
agree
a
with
session?
Not
Just in
just during a
general.
session,
In
but
general, okay.
yeah.
him. Like,
Because you know what? I believe, hey, this is just me. I feel like, just by talking to you guys, like there is an eye, like, you know what I mean? Like seers. So
Yeah.
you have to be able to see beyond, like you were just saying, there's a reason why you want to feel somebody's energy first, because it's not just about taking a photo. Again, it is about the connection between you and the client, or me and the photographer. And if I don't feel comfortable, then I'm going to look crazy in my photos. But if there's a energy that the photographer and we have, you know what I mean? So it is spiritual. It's it's on another level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what if we tapped into that thing? What more could we see and transmit?
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
I'm getting
Yeah, I
off.
just want
I believe
I'm getting off my
it's always a
vibration style.
Without sharing
energies.
a-
That's all we're doing
it
all
is,
the time.
definitely.
1998 was my very first ever photo shoot, and it was in a remote place in
Say 1988.
1998. 1998. I was 21 years old. So do the math. I was 21, and I was traveling with First Union Bank. I was one of the trainers in customer service, and we were opening up a customer service call center in one of the places in Allentown and Wyomissing or Reading. And I met this photographer who only wanted to take black and white photography, but he had two different styles. So he had the traditional black and white, but he also had this purple tint film that he would use. Yeah. So I have two different sessions, a hardcore black and white session and a slightly lavenderish purple tint. And we took the photography over the course of 2 days, and it was like 38 degrees. And he made me lay on rocks, and it was very uncomfortable.
The all-white outfit?
No, this I don't think you've ever seen any of this. But this is old. I look very, very young with a round face, but it still looks the same. But I have a little bit of a rounder face, and we just went to this remote location, and he spent time, and he would just look at me weird, just very, very weird. During the set, and of course I was 21, so I'm feeling insecure. I'm like, why are you looking at me like that? Do I look fat? Making all these things, and he's like, just shut up, just like stay there, don't move, and I'm like, well, it's freezing cold. I'm laying on these rocks, and I'm like trembling, and I'm, oh my God, I'm cold, and he's like, stay still, It was one of those moments, and then afterwards, he hit on me, like really hard. So I didn't,
What do you mean really hard?
Well, it kind of would put you in the mind of one of my favorite movies, Mahogany, with Diana Ross, and how this photographer wanted to make her this amazing. I'm going to make you this amazing fashion photographer. You just do everything I tell you to do, and then she did this, and then he was so impassioned and so like in love with her. He wanted to he didn't want her to be with anybody else. He didn't want her to be shot by any other photographers. And then he was like, he got in a bad car accident where he just let the car get out of control. He was one of those guys.
Yeah.
There's a lot of photographers like that.
Yeah.
They become possessive over their muse or whoever.
So you see, because back to capturing, like tying into what your question was, you see this moment, you've interviewed your client, you see this client, there is a little bit of infatuation with the beauty that you're capturing, and then this person's really gorgeous, or in your eyes, and you develop this loose affection for them. Has that happened at all? Have you been aroused by your own photography? I know this is like going down the rabbit.
Aroused.
Aroused. Arousal. It's like, whether it could be, it could be you piqued your interest in some way.
I noticed that he can capture men in a way that I couldn't. I've seen him capture nude men, and it's so incredible how he I couldn't sit there and photograph a man nude, but the way he do it, no matter what he's into, the way that he do it makes me say, wow, that was good. Without even saying, oh, that's a man, so I'm, but he photographs. So if I had to capture someone, if I had to capture someone nude, I would probably not do a good job. If it's a man, now it's a woman. Different, but the way that he captured men, it's so good. I would say I would openly give props and say, wow, that's an amazing picture of a nude guy.
Right. From a photographer's
no homo,
right?
But it's that good. Yeah, it's that good. Sorry if I'm overdoing it with the compliments, but I'm just being honest.
I'm like, I don't know how to take compliments. I'm just like,
no. But it's really interesting because I always like to know that from a photographer's perspective.
Yeah.
Everybody, I'm sure that people are listening to this podcast are like, wow, these questions that we're asking, most people don't get a chance to ask photographers these questions.
Right.
A lot of photographers don't have an opportunity to speak on a microphone. They're busy taking pictures. It just so happens that you both are very creative individuals who actually really, really love your art, and you're passionate about it, and you have two different styles.
Yeah.
two different ways. I knew Blue before he was doing photography.
Yeah,
like
you
Blue,
did.
Blue was doing. He was a real jack of all trades. He was doing everything, and then at one point he was singing. Yeah, and I'm like, man, you need to find your ministry, And he found it. And when you started taking pictures and I saw your work, what was the first thing I said to you? It was like, I was so happy.
Yeah, you was.
Because it was like when you see someone become in alignment with who they really, really are, it's beautiful because then it's effortless for you to then take pictures at that point. It's not contrived. It's not really hard. You naturally do it. And the same thing with you, Toni. I mean, I don't see you doing anything else. I don't even see you as a barista.
Expand.
I know you can, but I mean, why? When you need to be all over the world and more people need to be behind your camera.
But I can do that with video.
So
let's talk about that for a
I was
second.
gonna say, do you want to do video?
Oh, absolutely.
That's how you started.
I mean, that was kind of the point of one of the main things with the campaign or to sell the books was to be able to get a computer that can actually process video.
Yeah.
Because at this point, my computer, anytime I've tried doing even small video clips, it takes forever. Yeah. It's like for a 30-second clip, it's like 10 hours. Yeah, so I just need a new computer and a stabilizer, and I'll be fine. I'll play around with it and figure it out. But
will you do music videos?
Yeah, definitely.
I can see. Yeah, I think he'll be dope at it.
I think so too.
I do too.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, aren't there? Do you guys know off the top of your head? There are a few photographers that are also videographers.
A ton of them.
Yes, a ton of them. Yeah.
Parsons.
RD.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, you should look up this guy named Parsons. Like
Is that Chris Parsons? Chris Parsons.
Okay. Yeah. He is like very abstract. I mean, he can do what I do. He could do what he do, but he has a way of merging, like in video, he has a way of merging abstract and kind of just flipping it. Like he inverts, it inverts. Like he inverts his images and bring the picture to life. And it'd be like, it might look black and white, has a hint of color in it. Yeah. Like, it just be like, what? Or it might be like a hue, color. It's just weird, like how he does it. And it's amazing, but. He's in tune with music, and so by him having that music, like he's very very different. He's on a whole nother wavelength, and I can't help but love everything he does. So
okay,
right.
Well, this conversation, I have to say, is probably one of my favorites. It's insightful because I love taking. I like interviewing people that you would never normally hear from. Like I had the privilege of seeing you on on television, and I know how you feel. I already know Toni. He's like, TV, here we go. I know you don't like to be in front of the camera
at all,
and it showed. Your body in your body language, you were like.
My mom saw it. She's like, "What is wrong with you?" I was
like, loosen up. I wanted to pass a drink through the screen. Like, here, bro, drink this.
Oh, I definitely took a shot before I walked in.
You did.
It was like 9 a.m.
Wow.
So take a quick moment and tell everybody. Let's recap how they can find you. If any social media that you want to share, also be sure to plug that link to the book. It's coming up. Yeah.
So the link to the book is on all my social media. It's literally anywhere you type my name, or you type Create Jax. So CRE, the number 8. JAX, and that's on Instagram or Facebook. And the link is on both of those.
Yeah.
In the profile description.
And it will be in the body and the description of the podcast as well. So it'll be on YouTube and also on the other many places that Taste Test Live will be.
Yay.
So I appreciate you coming by.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for joining in the conversation about Yeezuz.
It was my favorite part of the segment.
So
yeah.
So as we go.
Yes, as we go.
We just want to say thank you, Yeezuz, for your things and your songs that you had bring. We say goodbye to you.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm gonna add a little Austrian. I don't even have any words. I was about to sing something, and I was going to sing somebody else's stuff, and I'm like,
that was the benediction song.
That was the one, the benediction after the eulogizing and everything. Okay, so, wow. Okay. Well, here we are. Thank you again. So Taste Test Live is a fully syndicated podcast and is on podcast services wherever you listen to your podcast. That is our show. Again, thanks to our guest, Toni Smailagić. I didn't say it right there.
Smailagić.
Gitch.
Close.
That's our show this week. Thanks to our guest, Toni Smailagić, for joining us in Studio One. Thanks to our friends at WJCT for allowing us to be in this space and to record this podcast. I'm Damian Lamar, and my co-host,
Blue Franswa.
And
Megan Bake, MJ Baker.
Oh, what? What?
I was.
Now you see why they tell you not to drive and text at the same time.
I know. I was looking for my part. Okay. I was on the docks looking to see if I had to say something.
You didn't.
Okay.
It's all good.
All right. So let's do that again.
Yeah. I'm Damian Lamar, and it's been great. Thank you so much to our guest. Thank you to my co-host,
Blue Franswa.
MJ Baker.
Yeah. And Toni, one more time. Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been fun.
Yeah.
We hope it's been fun for you guys. Thanks for listening. Please share this podcast with your friends.
Yay.
Bye. Taste Test Live is supported by listeners like you. If you enjoy the show and want to make sure I can keep making it at this rate, then head over to tastetest.live and click the button that says Patreon. There you can learn how you can help and get some perks for your support. If you're unable to support Taste Test Live financially, then share the show. Tell your friends about it and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast service. I really enjoy sharing this podcast with you and producing it every week. Thank you so much for listening.